Appearance on Dion's Daily Dose does not imply endorsement from or by any candidate or guest. The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed by Dion Bergeron or Dion's Daily Dose are his own and do not represent the views, thoughts, and opinions of any guest. Material and information presented is for general information purposes only. The Dion's Daily Dose name in all forms and abbreviations are the property of its owners, and its use does not imply endorsement of or opposition to any specific organization, product, or service. If you'd like to support the show, please visit our Patreon at patreon.com/Dion's Daily Dose.
All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so I figured I'd do a quick video to let you guys know about a position you may or may not be aware of. The first one is called Precinct Committeeman, Committeeperson, Committeewoman, whatever. It doesn't matter to me what you call it. It's the same thing regardless of the title. What this person is specifically for a party, right? So Democrat, Republican are the ones that I'm going to talk about. I'm familiar with the Republican Party, so I'm going to talk about that aspect, but it's the same regardless of whether you're talking Democrat or Republican. So the Republican Party is broken up into the national level, the state level, and then the county level. The national GOP chairwoman is Ronna McDaniel, and you can feel about her however you feel. I have my own feelings. And then at the state level, you have the national chairman, some subs, right? And then at the county level, we have our county chairman, right? Now, how does the county chairman get to where he's at? Well, the precinct committee people vote on that. There is a caucus that's held, and all the precinct committee people get together and they cast their vote for who they want to be the county chairperson. Why should you care about that? Now, there's more involved to it, and I'll get to that in just a moment. But why should you care about that? Because that's who dictates the state level. The county chairs are who vote for the state chair. The state chair is who vote, each of the state chairs are who vote for the national chair. Are you seeing where I'm going with this? By taking control with real patriots of the county level Republican Party, you can change the course of the party. You can determine who your county chair is, who your state chair is, and in turn, who the national chair is. Now, what else is involved in being a precinct committee person? We'll get to delegate in just a moment. You actually are responsible for working with candidates, local candidates running in your neighborhood, introducing them door to door, going door to door, which the ideal candidates for these positions are people who know their neighbors. I urge you to meet your neighbors. Usually a precinct is only a few blocks, 20 blocks at the most, usually. Different cities, obviously have larger precincts, but for the most part, you're looking at a fairly small area. My area is generally pretty small. At some point, I'll bring it up on a map and show you another time. But right now, I just want to focus on what it is that we do. Precinct person not only votes for the chair, is responsible for taking candidates door to door, helping them. And these should be candidates that you believe in, right? Introduce them, introduce your neighbors to them, organize a get together, a meet and greet, stuff like that. But also you vote on policies and procedures that your county party is supposed to follow, right? You vote on budgets, you vote on meetings. I highly recommend that you urge your county chair to hold regular meetings. Now, here in LaPorte County, Indiana, we have a meeting every month. I will say our chairman, Alan Stevens, has been phenomenal with getting the party organized, with creating the meetings and the drive to help candidates and get them out there. What is a delegate? Now, a delegate, before I move on, I want to tell you, what are the requirements to run for precinct committee person? They can vary, but here in Indiana, it's of a certain age, live in the district that you're running for, the precinct that you're running for, and put your name on the ballot. How do you do that? You go to the clerk of court and you ask them for the application to put your name on the ballot to run for precinct committee person, right? Now, prior to a lawsuit that just happened, you were required to have 2 consecutive primaries voting as Republican in order to run for Republican committee person. Any position as a Republican, you were required to have 2 primary voting records, right? You had to have voted in 2 primaries as a Republican. Well, with the John Rust lawsuit, I'm not entirely sure at this point. My understanding is that 1 primary is now enough, and possibly even 0. That's something you'll have to discuss with your clerk of court. However, if you have 1 or 2 primaries voting as a Republican without anything after that, then you are eligible to run as a precinct committee person and a delegate, which I'll get to in just a moment. In order to run for a precinct committee person or a delegate, if you don't establish a bank account or do any of that stuff, you don't need to worry about the campaign finance stuff for that. Worth it. Why? Because you are the precinct committee people, committee person. They are responsible for the direction of the party. And I personally, I am a very strong conservative. I believe in the values that the Republican Party stands for, especially upon its initiation, upon its founding, its creation, right? The things that it lists as critical to being a Republican, that is what I believe in. But I believe that the current party has lost its way. I believe that they no longer represent true conservatives, true Republicans. And the only way we're going to get back to representing that is by running for precinct committeeman and delegate. Now, the difference between a precinct committeeman and a delegate is the very same thing that the precinct committeeman does, the delegate does on a state level. Every 4 years, there's actually every 2, but there's a primary, right? Every 2 years, there is a convention, the Republican convention, the state convention, also happens. Now, the last convention was in 2022, and we decided the Secretary of State, the Treasurer, possibly another position, I'm not sure. But in 2024, we're going to pick Lieutenant Governor, Attorney General, and possibly something else. I'd have to look it up, but right now I want to get this video out because it's important. Attorney General, Lieutenant Governor. Why does that matter? Well, Indiana is one of the few states that actually the delegation chooses the Lieutenant Governor. There's kind of a tradition, right, where the governor will pick their running mate and the delegation will just kind of go along with it, right? It doesn't have to be that way. You, as a delegate, can choose who you want to be your lieutenant governor and governor via the regular primary. But as far as delegates go, you sign up, you run, and if you win, you will be responsible for going to Indianapolis during the convention to vote for the lieutenant governor and the attorney general. Now, these 2 positions are critically important for the state of Indiana. Like I said, this is a different year, but the Secretary of State is also chosen. The Treasurer is also chosen via convention. But this year, Attorney General, Lieutenant Governor, absolutely critical. Now, there is a cost associated with being a delegate. Why? Because the convention costs money. That's just the way it is. I don't have any control over it. Don't yell at me. There is a $100 charge for going down to the convention. $100 payable to the state party. And you also are responsible for your food and lodging, transportation, right? So you got to get yourself there. Stay the night if you want. It was interesting. It was interesting. Now, usually there's what's called hospitality suites. In 2020, everything was all jacked up with COVID. So it was a virtual convention. It sucked. I hated it. In 2022, that was my first convention. And the hospitality suites are basically an opportunity to listen to the candidate running, enjoy some food, enjoy some drink, usually some music, and have an opportunity to converse or listen to them, ask them questions directly. That's usually the night preceding. And then the next day you go and you vote for the various positions. The same way that you run for precinct committeeman is the same way that you run for delegate. You just go to your clerk of court, tell them that you want to run. Easy peasy. It is super simple. We can look up the exact requirements here in Indiana, but I'm telling you what it's going to say. And right now, things are kind of up in the air because of the John Russ lawsuit, which I will cover in more detail in another video. Make sure you look out for it. But that is why precinct and committeeman are precinct and delegate are so important, because you are literally deciding the future of the party. You are guiding it. You are steering it. So I personally recommend everyone, if you don't identify as a Republican, that's okay. The procedure is exactly the same for the Democrat Party. Libertarian, slightly different. You'll have to look into them. I don't know that personally, the way that they do theirs, but Republican or Democrat, however you lean, good on you, get involved. Decide the future of your party. Decide the future of our political system. Because, like it or not, we generally have a two-party system right now, and it's looking to stay that way for a little bit. Why not guide it? Why not get involved? Why not make a difference? So I appreciate your time. We're going to have a lot more coming up. Stay tuned. God bless you. God bless Indiana, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
If you'd like to support the show, please visit our Patreon at patreon.com/Dion's Daily Dose. This has been Dion's Daily Dose, hosted by Dion Bergeron. Executive producers, Sean Holgram and Michael Beebe. Copyright 2024. Dion's Daily Dose, all rights reserved.